Hey guys, welcome back. It's Joey again, and I gotta ask you guys a question. Have you ever had buyer's remorse? Well, what about seller's remorse? Have you ever sold something and then after you sold it, you thought about, man, maybe it was not a good idea for me to sell that, and all of a sudden you started thinking about buying it back? Well, I did repurchase another detector, and I want to let you know why I sold it and why I decided to repurchase it again. So stay tuned. All right, man, so here's the situation, right? I owned the Garrett Ace Apex, and I also owned the Equinox 600. I used them both, and after keeping it for about a month, I found things about the detector that made me decide, hey, they're not for me, put it on offer up, get rid of it. Well, I ended up repurchasing another one, okay? And it's right here behind this towel, and I'm going to reveal it to you at the end of this show, but I'm going to go over the reasons why I got rid of it in the first place. And then I'm going to ask you guys, if given the choice of either one of these two detectors for about $100 price difference, which way would you have gone? So I'm going to start off. The first one is the Apex, okay? So it's been getting a lot of buzz, the Garrett Ace Apex, because they redesigned that face and it looks really new and it's completely redesigned, and I had to go buy it. I bought it and I thought it was going to be amazing, man. I mean, I was very wowed with the design of it, the lightness of it, the graphic user interface, the button, the simple menu options, the way it could knock out EMI, man. It was really an awesome detector, and I really wanted to keep it in my stable. But after using it for probably 3 times, something was definitely wrong with this detector, man. And it's just, you know, you have this intuition in you that there's just something not right. You know what I mean? It's like you can't really pinpoint it, but the behavior of that detector, something was not right. And the first problem that I noticed right out the top, man, was the bad iron masking that thing had. I made a video that I discussed it and I showed exactly what was going on. And what was happening is that you'll have a good target, but if there's any iron around it at all, and I mean at all, depending on what mode you're in, that detector is going to take that good target and hide it behind iron. So you could literally just hear nothing but an iron buzz. Ba-buzz, ba-buzz, ba-buzz. And there's a gold ring just sitting right there, dude. And just ba-buzz, ba-buzz, ba-buzz. And I'm watching this thing go down. I'm actually doing the test myself. And if you're in like coin mode, forget about it. It just completely buzzes over it, and it just the reporting of the iron takes so long that if another good target happens to jump in as it's reporting the iron, it completely misses it, and then goes on to the next target. So it just completely masked it over. Now, you could technically work your way around that, and what do people do? They put it in zero mode. Zero mode is like a zero discrimination mode. Okay, you'll hear a target. You won't know what that target is. Why? Because the tone, now everything sounds the same in zero mode. Everything sounds the same. You have no target ID because once the Apex finds iron, it pulls the number down to whatever it is that you found. So if you found a quarter, and let's just say the quarter fires in the 90 range, and you know the tone of what that quarter sounds like, all of a sudden when that iron processes, it pulls the number down 20. Now that quarter is going to come down into like the dime range, and it's going to sound like junk. Okay, so and like nickels, you'll hear a nickel tone come up, you'll hear the tone of the nickel, and you'll see the number, what it's supposed to be. But when you got it in zero mode, once again, once it detects as iron, it's going to pull that number down into a completely different segment, and it doesn't sound like a nickel, and the number doesn't show that it's a nickel target ID anymore. So the target ID is useless, and the audio is useless. So basically, the Apex that you paid $425 for, it turns into being a dig it all detector. Kind of like the very first detector that I ever owned, which was a Tesoro compadre that I picked up for 99 bucks. You know, all the Tesoro ever did was just beep for anything. And you just stopped and you played with the discrim knob, whatever, but you decided, if I could get a good target audio sound, I just dug it with the compadre. And that was a $99 detector. So you're telling me that all these years later, I finally put out $425 for Garrett's new top-of-the-line model, and it does that where it masks over good targets with iron buzz and gives me basically a dig-it-all detector for $425. It pissed me off, and I decided, dude, that was like a big strike right there. Number two, I have highly mineralized soil here in Las Vegas. Anywhere from 72 to like 90, okay? So that's quite high. It's almost like detecting in iron filings. So this detector struggled in it. I'd be out there sweeping, and as I'm sweeping, I'm getting chirps and beeps at the end of my sweep. It'd be like beep beep click click, beep 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 click click click, beep 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 click click, beep 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 click click click. So at the end of my sweep, I'm hearing beeps over there, and I'm like, is that a target? Is that a target? Is that a target? I'd go back over to that area that it was just beeping, and I'm swinging the coil, and it's just dead noise or buzzing. The good target sound is gone. I'm like, wait a minute, dude. I was just swinging, and at the end of my swing, it was beeping over there. So I stop, and I go back, and I'm swinging, and it's just beeping. But yet when I stop and I try to isolate that sound, trying to get that to repeat, no repeated sound, and just beeping. And I just got sick of it, man. Sick of chasing ghosting sounds. Now, yeah, it could have some EMI chatter, some ground mineralization could help be the problem that, you know, that contributed to that. But overall, I was very, very unimpressed with that detector. At least where I'm at with my mineralized soil, the Garrett failed, had to sell it. Okay, so that iron masking and that falsing, why bother? I sold it, got rid of it. Okay, so moving on. The next one is the Equinox. The Big Daddy Equinox that everybody says that, you know, hey, if you buy the Equinox, man, you know, you have basically the king of the hill, blah, 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 right? So I was like, you know what? For my birthday, I'll go ahead and treat me to it. Now, understand, you know, not everybody has 700 bucks to go plop down on a detector. This is just a hobby for me. I'm not an enthusiast. I'm just a hobbyist. I do this thing for fun. But I was just like, you know what, I'll go out on a limb here, you know. So $649 was without the wireless. I've decided to go with the wireless headphones. So it ended up costing me a little over $700 for the 600, okay? So I'm expecting great things for a $700 detector. I'm not sponsored, I'm not getting it for free, so I have to pay for every detector that I buy. So I get this thing here, man, and I'm thinking, oh, great, man. It's got to be the king of the hill. All these guys are digging relics with it. They're going deep, man. They swear by it. It's got to be the bomb. The first thing that happens when I put this thing together is I notice the shaft on the 600 sucks ass. Okay, I'll say it. If Minelab wants to hear it, your detector shaft sucks. Anybody that owns that detector can automatically relate that shaft is just garbage. Man, they've got a single detent. They got the old camlock style, you know, the crutch style that you would, when you get all banged up in a hospital. They're still using that old nasty crutch design that has the pop rivets in it. How stupid. You're going to come out with a flagship Equinox and you're still going to put out a lame crutch like that? When I buy the Simplex, you see that awesome Simplex collapsing style cam locks that they have on that detector, and then you get the Vanquish and it's got a nice designed shaft that's modern, and they're going to give you this ridiculous fishing pole crutch style shaft. That's not even the worst of it. The worst of it is I just barely got this thing and I put it together and I'm going to a park and I'm like, dude, this thing is wobbling on me. And what I mean by that is, this is your coil, this is your control box. As you're swinging it, it starts to do this. And I'm like, why is it doing that? I'm tightening it up, and I'm back there swinging it. 30 minutes later, man. Are you kidding me, man? The single detent, I tell you what, Garrett still uses that same style crutch shaft, but the thing about Garrett is they use twin detents that pop out both sides, so it can't rock. You know what I mean? So you got the twin detents and you got the cam lock, and it's nice and tight and it's proper. Minelab makes it with one detent popping out the bottom, and you use the cam lock to tighten it, and I swear to God, you'll crank it down and still you'll just feel that little annoying tick tock, tick tock, tick tock. For a brand new $700 detector, dude, that shit was annoying. I'm over here putting tape on it and crap. Why the hell would I need to put electrical tape and crap trying to make this thing stop wobbling? That was number one. So finally, I just said, you know, whatever, that's cool. That's small time stuff. I'll work past it. So then I take it to a park, and I start detecting with it, and I'm thinking, hey man, I got the Elite. The best chance that I'm going to have to detect and find things is going to be with this Equinox. I mean, after all, it's a $700 detector. It's multi-frequency. It goes deep. All the guys in the UK are using it. They're finding all this Roman coins and smashed, hammered, whatever, right? It's got to be great for just my typical park here in Las Vegas. Great. Guess what? I go to a park that I've gone to many times, and it starts doing that EMI chatter crap. Sounding like R2-D2 on crack. Are you kidding me, man? And it doesn't matter how many times you try to do a channel select. Didn't do shit. It still continuously made that chatter. And you could try your best to lower the sensitivity, put it in different modes. I have tried everything that I could on that detector to make it quiet, and it would just, if there was any kind of EMI nearby, it was going to let you know that EMI was there, and there was no working your way through it. That was like it for me, because I used to be the one to say, when I'm going to a park, man, that's the detector I'm going to grab right there. Bam! I want my best shot at finding the best stuff at the park, so I'm figuring, hey, it's got to be Equinox. It's loaded with everything. Until you drive all the way out to these parks and you find that there's some type of EMI, and it's doing the old R2-D2, and you can't detect there. And I'm like, wow, $700, wobbly ass shaft, and EMI. It doesn't have any kind of shielding on it. I tell you what, I loved Minelab when they had the Xterra 705 Gold Pack. Let me tell you that. That 705 Gold Pack with that little elliptical coil, man, that thing would fight through and just chew through EMI like nothing. I'm talking about a tower will be dead smack right in front of you with all the arms hanging out of it, man, just kicking out tons of EMI. That Xterra 705 worked its way right through it, no problem. But with this multi-frequency, no. It was letting all that EMI through. So guys, you know what? I don't mind. I don't want to sound like I'm bagging on the Equinox and bringing it down. It may be a great detector, but anybody that owns the Equinox can attest to the two things that I just told you. That shaft sucks. And they're running out there and paying $150 more to go buy a carbon fiber detected shaft. Why in the hell would you do that? I mean, why don't we all get together and just cram it down Minelab's throat? Dude, get us a better shaft, man. Send us a better shaft. Redesign this shaft. Take this thing back and send us a good one, or send us some type of a upgrade that we can fix those cam locks, because this is ridiculous. Paying that kind of money for a detector with a wobbly shaft, and then just going to go out there and buy an aftermarket shaft for another $150 to cover up the problem? No, dude. We should hold Minelab accountable for that. And the other thing was that EMI noise. Not having proper shielding, you almost have to go into like single frequency. And then what's the point of having multi-frequency if you're going to hunt around in a single frequency? That's what I have my Simplex for. But guys, those were the reasons why I decided to get rid of both of them. The $700 to me wasn't worth the money to pay for that Equinox. And the Garrett Apex, as beautiful designed as it was and re-engineered, what's the point of owning that detector if I go to my parks and the mineralization is too hot for that detector and it's just ghosting everywhere, and it's got that really horrible iron masking where you got to hunt in zero mode and dig it all? Those are the reasons why I got rid of it. Well, I tell you what, just for the sake of doing reviews on this channel, people still have a ton of questions about those detectors. I decided if I can get them for the right price, I would repurchase either one of those detectors again. Just because I want to, I would just do it for the fans out there, for the people that really want to know what this detector can do or can't do. I would just go ahead and repurchase it. So I did repurchase a detector again, one of the two. And the detector that I repurchased again, if it was you, for the difference of $100, if you could have the Garrett Ace Apex or the Equinox 600, which detector would you guys choose? Well, this is it right here. This is what I got. Boom. I repurchased the Equinox 600 again. Now, before you go nuts, you're like saying, dude, of course the Equinox, man. Equinox is $700. The Garrett Apex is $400. How could you compare the difference? Here's the deal, man. This guy here was an open box, right? I got that open box. You already know this thing's $649, and it came with the wireless headphones. But I didn't pay $649. I didn't pay $549. I didn't pay $500. I paid $475. Bam! For that open box with wireless for $475 plus tax, man. I couldn't say no to it. I could have bought a brand new Ace Apex for the $425, no wireless headphones or nothing. But the point of the matter is, man, why I just couldn't see rebuying that Apex when I know that I'm going to go to the park and the mineralization was just going to kick it into the dirt, and I'm just going to get nothing but grunts. Grunt, 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 beep, 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 fake falsing, no falsing, iron masking. For me, in this soil, I couldn't use that. But I can use this. I know that the EMI is going to kick my nuts in, and I'm going to have to keep the Simplex next to me or keep the Vanquish next to me just in case I want to continue hunting in a park and the EMI gets to be too tough for it. I still can't believe that the EMI hurts the Equinox so badly, especially for a detector in its price range. That's disappointing. I hope that there's an update that can come out. Simplex is awesome with updates, man. You complain enough, that company works with you, man. They have updates to fix all kinds of glitches and bugs. And if Apex can get their act together and fix that iron masking problems with an update, I'll gladly buy that again. And if there's anything that can be done with this Equinox, with some kind of a modification or an aftermarket cam lock kit that can make that wobbly shaft go away, I'm definitely going to be on that. But that's what I have for you guys today, bro. Thanks for sticking around and listening to it. Like I said, I had to make a little list. I never thought that I would repurchase something that I bought the first time, used, and had a terrible time with it and sold it. Why never would you go and rebuy that again? Well, all right, guys, so that's all I have for you tonight. Thank you so much for watching the repurchasing of the Equinox 600. I gave you all the reasons for why I got rid of it the first time. I still can't believe that I repurchased the detector again, but I did it for the sake of the channel so that I have some more content and reviews that I can make concerning that machine. And if you guys have any questions or concerns, go ahead and leave that question down in the comment box and I'll reply to it as soon as possible. Thanks again for watching, guys. Please give me a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't, and I'll catch you guys back on my next review. Have a good evening. Take care.